ahead of this who was defiant of religion and then became an atheist. And I would relate to that, except for I do not consider myself an atheist, because I believe that there is a fight between the fearful and faithful that is taking place, and our opinions are what keep us divided and unable to actually unite. This morning I was dragged into more drama that I wish not to be part of, and yet it reminded me of a drama that is outstanding in terms of receiving answers that would actually make it less dramatic. And more simply saying, I'm not assassinating anyone's character, but simply saying we act on or operate based on borrowed trust in this world. And what that means is that we trust one another, who are then engaged with organizations, groups, or entities that then use us as the hands of it for the corpse's heartless and soulless, unless it then becomes the soul corpse that is then implied to be the equivalent of we who are the souls of this place, and then have soul corporates made in the likeness and image of our souls, those corporate souls being the S-O-L-E, which is spelled the same way as the soles on our feet that we walk on, that are often plastic, so then keeping us disconnected from the natural rhythm and resonance of the earth, which is heart in a different order. So I'm saying this again because a month and a half or so ago, I had realized that I gave private information in a public space based on borrowed trust that I want to understand whether it is misplaced on either side of his or mine, based on whether the organization that the one in question is connected to, simply because I trusted the one who was connected to some more bigger houses on top of the one that I was buying into through the one that I did offer that information because of, in good faith that it was actually going to help me be helped in a situation where I was in need. And the promise made sounded too good to be true, and so the information was given, and then no follow-up received, no email confirmation. And I offered up my driver's license number that is associated with my person, that is the status of driver, which is not what I'm doing right now, just to clarify, because I'm only traveling, for there is no commercial activity taking place now, and I can't even monetize on YouTube because I have a strike from when I promoted the doctor's talks with Wayne Peters back in 2021 that they haven't removed my strike from, and I couldn't be able to take a retraining program to better adhere to the standards of the platform that this will be placed on. It's not so dissimilar from other big names that have gained a lot of fame for standing up and resisting the retraining to maintain licenses to lie to senses that say things must be done a certain way, for that is the way that doctors do it in indoctrination. Indoctrination is how we fall in line to the house rules, and all that I am asking in the call that I have made to say, I want to know what this global family group is about that's connected with Anna Von Reitz, and ultimately I believe that a call with all of the parties mentioned, including Top Cat, would then benefit from being able to be in a group setting where all of the evidence of the legitimacy of the organization could be shared. Because based on all of my studies, I believe that it is simply a de facto version of the original that we are presently already dealing with. What that means is the present government governing the mind is de facto in nature, which means it only gets its force and effect because we give it biological state apparatuses, which are the social structures that are upheld by the state structures underneath of them. So what I mean by all of this is that Global Family Group is apparently the financial wing of Anna Von Reitz' initiative. I've heard good things about Anna Von Reit, and I connected with Top Cat Tony 2 years ago when he reached out to me, and I opened up like a book and was willing to engage and have a connection, and ultimately I trusted Top Cat, who I then correlated to the top dog in an organization, because ultimately he was the figurehead that I trusted when then he's involved with Anna Von Reitz's stuff, which others who I respect are aware of and say is good work. And so then, because he trusts Anna as well, and she then trusts the founder of Global Family Group, now there is a correlation or an alliance membership, private membership associations. Essentially, it's just a whole bunch of different houses that come together in a hub, and then the hub can have an alliance network that are all working together towards a common purpose, which may well still be good. And this is not calling anyone out expressly, but is saying in an online world, unless we actually know who is who and what to do with all of the opportunities we have to invest our team of time, energy, effort, attention, and money, then we don't know what's good until we actually connect as the players on the field of consciousness that we are. So with that being said, I say I want to have a meeting, and I want Anna Von Reitz there. I want the founder of this Global Family Group to be there. I want Top Cat Tony to be there, because he's the only one of those that I know, though others do know Anna as he does. So let's get together on a group call. This is not slander or character defamation or assassination or anything of that ilk. It is simply saying, in an online world, how do we know who to trust unless we have the conversations, and do it in a way that others can say, hey, I had this experience with them too. So why don't we do that? Because if Global Family Group is legit, if Anna Von Reitz's initiative that she has collaborated with Global Family Group is good in fact, then we'll be able to prove that, and then we'll actually know how to move forward with it. If it is not the case, then others will have alternative perspectives, such as the experience I have that made me question, hey, wait, because I was told to be quiet and not say anything because that was just a mishap or a mistake that was never corrected. Yet I have a platform, and I want to make sure that those who actually look to me on my platform are having an opportunity to gain a greater vantage point than they could do individually, because as one, when I tried to say, hey, I'm not having fun with this because what was promised wasn't delivered, never got corrected, I didn't get an answer outside of gaslit. So I want to get to the bottom of it. And I don't believe getting gaslit for asking a question is appropriate. So I'm asking again, and I'm doing it publicly. And I understand that we all want to defend what we know. But the reality is that gnosis and praxis of lived experience are very different. So my praxis of lived experience with Global Family Group is that I didn't get what I was promised, but I gave private information to a public domain that I trusted because of a name that I came to know because of online interactions that are from a man in a different country that's working with a woman in a different country to him, and whoever the middleman of the financial company in the meantime is, I know not who he is or where he comes from, though Tony does. So those three, plus whoever else needs to be on the call or has personal experience with actually flat and solid, then there's no problem. And if it's not, then there is for us all. And we need to commonly come together to say, okay, yeah, we're not gonna all fall just because somebody wanted to profit off of people that blindly trusted based on borrowed trust. Those who are actually in it. Because in previous civilizations, when they fell, the lawyers and the legal professionals were the ones that were persecuted by the people because they realized that they were aware of a fraud that they went along with and then got screwed from in the end too. We all get frucked if we don't stick together. And by that I do mean that the fruits of our labor can be profited off of by another who is vassal, which ties then back into Global Family Group being the larger organization above Anna von Reitz's group, above Top Cat Tony's group, and then me, the little one at the bottom, trying to get involved because one said it was good and then the ones above those might not be unless they're willing to actually step up and stick together by getting to the bottom of it all and proving the method. If we prove the method, then there's no slander. 1234, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a time for a new step. And so I call it, and I get to because I choose to. And I know that lashback comes because I get it privately. And then I get made fun of in different groups because I dare to actually say I care about the people more than the people that are going to slander me and my reputation, because ultimately we all pay, and common law means there is no time limit on when allegations can come forward that have substance to be resolved, because remedy is always available. Oh, the wonder of it all is on the truck beside me. So, y'all, this is a deep message and a passionate message because it's game day, literally. The Super Bowl, I said in a post this morning because it felt important to mention that when I saw that Usher is going to be the halftime performance act, his name is significant too, for when we usher something or someone in, then we walk with them, which was what I thought Top Cat Tony was doing with me. And then I got dropped once I asked a question, not to challenge the law specifically, but to say, okay, my experience was not what was promised. The delivery was not made, and I want to know whether others have had the same experience or whether others have actually had success. I was connected with another who was in the group, but ultimately in the manor house of manorialism or feudalism or corporate capitalism, you've got a liege lord on the top. You've got lords underneath of that, and vassals underneath of that, and then peasants at the bottom who pay. And presently, the working class is trying to be removed, which is the vassals or the manager level, the white collar, the blue collar pay, because they get their paycheck from the ones above, the managers. God is love forever. What is the God as the grantor of domain, the grantor of dominion, the grantor of domination, the grantor of domination with an @ sign where the A and T combine domination to look very akin to domain, or dominion rather. It's all the same when we're working within the old domain, using old patterns and paradigms and frameworks to build the new. We're gonna get screwed unless it's legit, which is all I'm asking. So anyone that wants to say it's slander, that's your call. And ultimately, I say down this wall, it says. Wow, yes. So the message is aligned. It is time, for it is game day. So here we go. I'm on my way to yoga. I'm gonna move and honor my vessel without a vassal. And I'm gonna say any vassals that claim to be holding the title of me, ain't no ring on my finger.